This adjourned meeting of the Minneapolis Local Board of Appeal and Equalization for April 19th, 2022 will now begin.
Good morning. Welcome to this live broadcast of our virtual meeting. This meeting includes the remote participation of members as authorized under Minnesota statutes, section 13D.021, due to the declared local health pandemic. The city will be recording and posting this meeting to the city's website and YouTube channels as a means of increasing public awareness and transparency. This meeting is public and subject to Minnesota open meeting laws. For the record, my name is Faye Bland and I am the chair of the Local Board of Appeal and Equalization. I will now call this meeting to order. The open meeting law requires a roll call be conducted during a virtual meeting, and a certification form will be completed for each local board meeting. This initial roll call will allow the city assessor to complete the certification form on behalf of the board members with a verbal signature. Will the clerk call the roll so we may verify the presence of a quorum?
Board Member Amba.
Present.
Board Member Bodertha.
Present.
Board Member Palmer.
Present.
Chair Bland.
Present.
There are 4 members present.
Let the record reflect a quorum of the board is present. We will proceed to the agenda, a copy of which was posted for public access to the city's Legislative Information Management System, which is available at lims.minneapolismn.gov. May I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second? Okay. It's been moved by Palmer and seconded by Bodertha to adopt the agenda. Please call the roll, clerk.
Board Member Amba.
Aye.
Board Member Bodertha.
Aye.
Board Member Palmer.
Aye.
Chair Bland.
Aye.
There are 4 ayes.
That motion passes and the agenda is adopted. There are a total of 17 cases to consider at today's meeting. 4 of these cases we will hear from the property owner and 1 of the city's appraisers. We will then proceed to the cases that were reviewed less than 10 days before the local board of the LBAE convened, where only the property owner will be present to the board. I will now summarize the process for conducting hearings in this virtual format. First, we will call on the applicant, who will be given 5 minutes to present their appeal. When your case is called, you need to press *6 on your phone to activate your microphone and wait to hear the pre-recorded message before speaking. We will ask that you state your name and address for the record and then present your appeal to the board. Next, we will call on the assessor staff and they will be given 5 minutes to present their report to the board. Finally, the board will have 5 minutes for questions on the case. The board will consider and take action on these cases either as they are presented or after the hourly grouping. In this case, we're going to take action right after they're presented, each case. The property owners will be notified of the decision by mail after the board has adjourned. Let's begin with item number 3, the appeal application for 4740 4th Avenue South, case number 22-0013. The applicant is Holly Higgs. Staff, do we have Ms. Higgs on the phone?
Chair Bland, this is right off the bat, a change to your agenda. We received a cancellation just this morning from this appellant, so they will not be on the call. Ms. Higgs opted to cancel her appeal.
Okay, so do we need to take any action on this at all?
To sustain the valuation, please.
Sustain the valuation, okay. Do I hear a motion to sustain the valuation on this case?
We move to sustain the value at $273,000.
Okay, second?
I second.
I'll
that.
second.
Okay. It has been moved by Bodertha and seconded by Amba to sustain the value of 4740 4th Avenue South. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Board Member Amba.
Aye.
Board Member Bodertha.
Aye.
Board Member Palmer.
Aye.
Chair Bland.
Aye.
There are 4 ayes.
The motion is adopted. The next case is 4810 Russell Avenue South, case number 22-0138. The applicants are Daniel and Wendy Barker. Are either of the Barkers on the line?
Chair Bland, we do have one caller in, but I do not recognize the number. Does the clerk's office know if this is our appellant?
Madam Chair, that number is the captioner, and the appellant has not called in yet. They're scheduled to start their hearing at 9:25 today.
Okay, and it's only 9:10. Okay.
I see that they're calling in right now, Chair Bland. They appear to be on the call.
Okay, can we admit them?
Madam Chair, the applicants are on the line. Please press *6 to unmute your phone. We are running a little bit early, and so once you unmute, you will have 5 minutes to present to the board, and please state your name and address.
Good morning. My name is Wendy Barker. My husband, Dan Barker, is also on the call with me. We are the owners and occupants of 4810 Russell Avenue South, a 5-bedroom, 4-bath home with 4,460 square feet. We've seen the assessment of our property creep up and had an assessor review our property in 2018, valuing it at $1.69 million. Looking at the City of Minneapolis website, as you can see in line item 1, there were 5 homes greater than 4,000 square feet sold in the assessed time period in Fulton, Linden Hills, East Harriet, and Lyndhurst. 4848 Russell Avenue South is 3 houses down the block from me. 4815 Sheridan Avenue South is directly behind me. There are 3 other homes, nice homes in my neighborhood, on or near Lake Harriet. 4255 East Lake Harriet Parkway, 4201 Fremont Avenue South, and 4637 East Lake Harriet. The average price per square foot of these comps is $314, excluding 4637 East Lake Harriet because its square footage deviates significantly from my home. Including it would bring the price per square foot lower. On point number 2, looking at the valuation history of these comps shows me that larger homes have been overvalued on average 33% and for many, many years. For one house, 4848 Russell Avenue South, this was a $417,000 overvaluation in 2021. Only one home has been more accurately assessed because it has been sold and resold within a 4-year range. The 2022 assessments for Fulton now reflect the actual sales price and would yield an average price per square foot of $311, again, excluding 4637 East Lake Harriet because of its size. What we are seeing is that larger homes greater than 4,000 square feet are not seeing the quick sales and increase in prices as smaller homes. 4815 Sheridan Avenue South was purchased in 2016 for $1.62 million and resold in 2020 for $1.655. This is a 2% increase over 4 years and took 18 months to sell. 4201 Fremont Avenue South was purchased in 2002 for $1.3 million and sold in March 2021 for $1.32 million. This is a 1.5% increase over 19 years and took over 24 months to sell. Yesterday, I listened to your discussion of 4309 East Lake Harriet. That one sold in 2006 for $1.856 million and again in 2014 for $1.425 million. It had a massive remodel by T2 and has been listed since 2019, initially for $2.4 million and reduced its price steadily and now listed at $1.95. They received one unsubstantiated offer of $1.4 million. If they received their asking price of $1.895, this is a 2% increase since 2006 and included a massive remodel, taking over 24 months to sell if the pending offer goes through. On point number 5, the 2022 City of Minneapolis assessment report states that single-family homes in Fulton increased in market value by 6.6%. My valuation increased by 11%. For item 6, looking at website valuations, the valuation range for my home is $1.2 to $1.686 million. Initially, the assessor included 4815 Sheridan Avenue South in the comps, but now has since revised the comps to focus on newer built homes. So now 3 of the comps used are outside the square footage parameter, lot size, and location area. 3 of the 4 homes chosen are up to 1,700 square foot differential, and 2 of those Linden Hill homes mention Lake Bedang-Makaska in its description. 4325 Ewing Avenue South in particular is the most expensive home sold amongst the 4 neighborhoods and was on the Artisan Home Tour. If we want to look at newer built homes, there were 14 sold in Fulton at an average price of $984,670 versus 23 newer built homes sold in Linden Hills at an average price of $1.287 million. This is a 31% price differential, with Linden Hills receiving a significant premium, another point you mentioned in your discussions yesterday. Funny enough, one of the newer built homes in Fulton, that is 1 block from my house, was built by the same builder in 2010, has 5 beds, 4 baths, and sold for $1.3 million. That was not even considered. The assessor has now valued our home at $1.825 million, but we believe that this is still too high based on the comps from the city website. In efforts to justify our home's valuation, the assessor went to homes that were not comparable on the basis of location, square footage, and lot size. Of the 537 homes that were sold in all the 4 neighborhoods, the assessor went to Linden Hills and chose the 3 of the top 4 most expensive homes to use as comps. We believe that when you deviate significantly from the square footage, location, and lot size, the assessments become more speculative and less credible. Thank you. $670 versus 23 newer built homes sold in Linden Hills at an average price of $1. Hello?
Okay. So, are you finished?
Yes, I'm finished.
Okay, thank you. We'll now call upon staff from the assessor's office to present their report to the board.
Chair Bland, we have Aaron Benoit, Assessor 2 in our office presenting this case.
Good morning, Chair Bland and members of the board. I am Aaron Benoit, a residential assessor with the City of Minneapolis. I am presenting today on the case 220138 for 4810 Russell Avenue South. The original 2022 assessed value for the subject is $1,974,000. The indicated value is $1,825,000. This property is in the Fulton neighborhood of Minneapolis. This is a single-family home west of Penn and north of 50th Street West. There is 1 home that sits between this property and Lake Harriet Parkway, as well as the lake itself. I completed a desktop review of the property on April 1st. This is a single-family 2-story home, which has 4,460 square feet above grade with a full basement, which has 2,027 square feet of finished area. The lot is 19,795 square feet. The house was built in 2013 and is in good condition with no significant changes or improvements since the original construction. The main floor of the house has a half bathroom. The second floor has 4 bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms, and 1 3/4 bathroom. The basement has 1 bedroom and a 3/4 bathroom. There are 3 fireplaces in the house, a patio, and an open front porch. There is a 3-car attached garage. 4 comparable sales were selected to support this analysis. The first is on the same block, while all the others are just over a mile away. They were selected for their similar age build. Comparable 1 is 4848 Russell Avenue South. It sold for $1,500,000 in June of 2021. This is a 1930s 2-story home on the same block just south of the subject. It has 5 bedrooms and 6 bathrooms above grade. It has similar square footage, a smaller lot, and inferior condition being older and less updated than the subject. It has an inferior amount of basement finish as well as more dated finish again. Comparable 2 is 3800 Thomas Avenue South. It sold for $1,700,000 in July of 2021. This is a 2011 year-built 2-story home located a few homes off of Bedang-Makaska. It has 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms above grade. It's much smaller in square footage and finished basement area. The lot is smaller, and the condition is similar to that of the subject. Comparable 3 is 3923 Vincent Avenue South. It sold for $1,600,000 in June of 2021. This is a 2016 year-built, 2-story home located a couple blocks off Bede-Makaska. It has 4 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms above grade. Again, it's smaller in square footage and finished basement area. The lot is smaller. The condition is similar to that of the subject. Comparable number 4 is 4325 Ewing Avenue South, and it sold for $2 million in July of 2021. It's a 2016 year-built home located near 44th and France. It's 3 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms above grade. It's much smaller in square footage and finished basement area. The lot is smaller. The condition is superior with high-end finishes and features, including a pool. Primary consideration was given to comparable 3, but much was taken into consideration when determining the value, including that the subject is at least slightly closer to a lake than any of the comparable sales. The original 2022 assessed value for the subject is $1,974,000. The value indicated after review is $1,825,000. Thank you for your time. Are there any questions from the board?
Board members, any questions for Ms. Benoit?
This is Board Member Palmer. I see in your appraisal and the problem is this, it was built in 2013, so you went and found similar age buildings with as good a location you can. That makes sense to me. Can you speak about a couple of things? One is the site of the subject is much larger than the other 3, and you have adjustments for that, and which makes sense. But is it a private lot, or is it how would you describe the difference between the large lot of the subject and the comparables?
Sure. Yeah, I would say it's mostly just that it's a larger lot. It's a traditional lot, I would say. Again, one house sits between this property and Lake Elliott.
Is it like wooded? Is it a big backyard? I'm just kind of curious as to the use of the extra land.
Sure. I would say it's kind of all around. Some of the land is to the south, and I would say that's where the significant amount of yard probably lies. It's not particularly wooded, no. It's a pretty traditional Minneapolis lot, other than the size of it.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. The alley is to the north of it. Yes.
Any questions from board members? Okay, thank you, Assessor Benoit. We will now consider an act on the appeal. Are there some discussion or questions regarding this from the board members?
This is Board Member Bedertha. Although the appellant had some great comparables that were the same size, and I appreciate that. I also appreciate new build comparables because it's just a little bit different what the market wants. So I appreciated that. Yeah, they weren't on the lake or somewhere close to the lake, so I like that. I guess that's what I'm thinking the value, I'm kind of going more close to what the city assessor came up with on that.
Regarding the lot, it's about twice the size of other lots on that block and in the area. It has almost 20,000 square feet, whereas others are 9,000, 11,000, something like that. I think the next farthest one is 15,000. So that's significant. The value of 4810 and 4848 lots is about, the 4810 is about double the land value according to the assessor. Any other comments or questions regarding 4810 Russell?
Just one other comment. I do appreciate the information the appellant provided, but I would just distinguish. A lot of them are comparable, but the timing of the sales is very key. Some of our sales are older in 2020. 4815 Sheridan was looks like it was October of 2020, and even though COVID was there, the market data shows the residential market has continued to increase over the last couple of years. So those probably, if you look at the net sales, should be just a little upward to get to the January 2, 2022 date. But other than that, and I think the assessor comps are more current than that. So that would be my only comment.
Excuse me. Hello. Can I make a comment on that?
All right.
Hello. Hi. Can I make a comment on that? Everything that I've listed as comps were from the city website, no cherry picking, and within the date range provided. So they are not older comps or older sales. They're within the sale range.
And I would also emphasize 3 of the comps they used were among the 4 most expensive homes sold. 537 homes were sold in our neighborhoods, and the assessor chose 3 of the top 4 most expensive homes in those 4 neighborhoods as our comps. And anybody who understands statistics, our point is simply that larger homes are not seeing the appreciation that smaller homes are. There's no question the small and mid-sized homes have done very well, but we're just not seeing this in larger homes. And the comps that we chose were not cherry-picked at all. They were larger homes in our neighborhood with similar baths, and yes, our lot size is probably bigger than typical, but otherwise, and there's even a new home built by the same builder 1 block from our house, similar size, similar bathrooms, just sold for $1.3 million. So that they chose not to use that. Again, a newer home, it's a couple of years different from ours. So, our point is that they have cherry picked. They have chosen 3 of the top most expensive houses in all of South Minneapolis, and they chose those as the comp to justify the $1.8 million that they've used.
Pardon me. Okay, thank you. You have made your case, and we appreciate your input. We will now proceed with our agenda. Thanks so much for your input. Okay, so we'll act on this. So additional discussion by the board. Do I hear a motion?
I'll move to reduce the value from $1,974,000 to $1.8 million.
Okay, look again. The indicated value 1,825, and you're proposing what?
1.8 million.
1.8. Okay. Is there a second?
I will second that.
All right. It's been moved by Badurtha and seconded by Palmer to reduce the value of 4810 Russell to 1.8 million. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Board Member Amba.
Aye.
Board Member Badurtha.
Aye.
Board Member Palmer.
Aye.
Chair Bland.
Aye.
There are 4 ayes.
The motion is adopted. Okay, our next case is the appeal for 5204 11th Avenue South, case number 22-0330. The applicant is Elizabeth Held. Is Ms. Held on the line?
Madam Chair, the applicant is on the line. Please press *6 to unmute your phone, state your name and address, and you'll have 5 minutes to present to the board.
My address is 5309 Columbus Avenue South. I moved into my house November 10th, 1962. My husband went to South High School, and we bought this house because at that time, Washburn and Southwest were the two best high schools in the city of Minneapolis. My oldest son was the first graduating class of the busing and the pairing, the destruction of the Minneapolis schools. But a house that's only a couple blocks from me, 5255 10th Avenue South, was advertised for sale for $265,000. 4 bedrooms and 3-car garage, oversized corner lot, and 2 bathrooms. My house is a small, and that was totally knocked down and rebuilt from the footprint, from the foundation up. So that my house is got the original insulation of newspapers between the walls, which I'm sure is all at the bottom. Right now I have a small heater going because I was sitting on the couch watching the Idiot box, and the wind blows through my stucco house. And I don't see how a house that is got insulation this day and age, and 4 bedrooms and 3-car garage and an oversized lot, how my house can be valued over that. I mean, my two bedrooms technically don't have closets. I have a cardboard closet in my bedroom. In my 1 bathroom, you cannot put a shower in the because the heat register is above the bathtub, right by towards the faucets, and the window comes out. So even if you fudged on the curtain, you couldn't have a shower going with the heat register there, because it would go down, water would go in. And to me, it's when I bought my house, I paid less than $13,000 for it. My house payments were $75. Now this other house they said the payments are $1,074. It's ridiculous. And let's see, my son went to Hale K through 3rd, 4th through 5th he went to Field, 6th he got on a bus and went to Field, and then he got on another bus and went to West High School, and then 7th and 8th he went to Anthony, 9th he went to Ramsey, 10th through 12th he went to Washburn. So he is the first graduating class of the uneducated of the public schools that politicians destroyed.
Thank you, Ms. L, for your presentation. I would call on the assessor.
Chair
Yes,
Bland.
the assessor came out to my house, and he even went over and looked at 5255, and he still says he feels that my house is valued is worth more than this other 4-bedroom, 2 baths, 3-car garage, and they're attached.
Thank you, Ms. L.
I mean, it's completely asinine as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you for your application and your presentation. I'm now going to call on the assessor.
Chair
Okay.
Bland, thank you. I for just point of order, I believe that was case 22-073 Marna Lee Garrett. So we are out of order.
Yes, I
We
noticed
were
that.
on, excuse me?
Yeah, I noticed what's on the screen is not what we're hearing.
No, what you thought you were hearing from Miss Elizabeth Held, but I believe that was Miss Marna Garrett on Columbus Avenue.
Okay, can we get a confirmation of that?
Miss Garrett, are you there? Press *6 to unmute.
Rebecca, this is Scott Stanley. That was Marna Garrett that just spoke.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so Chair Bland, how would you like to proceed? Would you like our staff appraiser to present on this case that you just heard for continuity, and then we'll go back to case 22-0330 on 11th Avenue South?
I think we just heard from the appellant on Columbus, and I think it would make sense for us to continue then with Columbus, even though it's out of order. So let's go ahead and hear from the assessor.
Okay, very good. Chair Bland and board members, Scott Stanley, assessor from our office, will be presenting this case. Thank you.
All right, just need to switch over to the other one. Good morning, Chair Bland, members of the board. My name is Scott Stanley. I'm a residential assessor with the city of Minneapolis. I'm here to present case 220373 5309 Columbus Avenue South. Our 2020 estimated market value is $299,000, indicated value of $300,000. Overall view of the property, I inspected the property on April 7th of this year. It's a 1.2 story single family home located in the Page neighborhood. Sits on a 4959 square foot lot. It was built in 1927. Has 911 square feet above grade, and the foundation size is 881 square feet. In the basement, there is approximately 424 square feet of finished space. There is a 1-car detached garage, and overall the house is in below average condition. On the main floor, typical layout for this style of home, there's a living room, dining room area, 2 bedrooms, 1 full bath, which is original, and a kitchen, which is updated approximately mid-90s. In the basement, like I said, is about half finished with a rec room, and the other half is the unfinished utility room. The attic area has a walk-up set of stairs and is unfinished upstairs. The exterior of the home is stucco with asphalt shingles. There are no sales in the last 3 years. All the comps I used on the subject home are actually on her same street and all within a half a block of the subject property. No adjustments were made to the GLA if the difference of the comparable sale was less than 100 square feet. Comparable number 1, 5320 Columbus Avenue South, sold for $331,800 in February of 2022. Similar GLA, it is slightly superior condition, does have a larger updated kitchen, updated bath, and an unfinished basement. Comparable number 2, 5317 Columbus Avenue South, sold for $329,000 on August of 2021. It has inferior GLA. It is a superior condition and does have a nicer kitchen. It does have an updated bath, but it also has an unfinished basement. Comparable number 3, 5240 Columbus Avenue South, sold for $315,000 in March of 2021. It has larger GLA. It does have a slightly superior condition. It does have the original kitchen, and it has a slightly updated bathroom, and it does have some basement finish. Comparable number 4 is 5324 Columbus Avenue South, sold for $278,000 in June of 2021. It is a smaller GLA. It does have the similar condition as hers. It did have a similar kitchen, and it has an unfinished basement. The indicated value range by the sales comparison approach is $299,000 to $308,000. The subject property is 2020 estimated market value, again, is $299,000. Indicated value of the comparisons is $300,000, and I'm recommending we hold the value at $209,000 for her 2020 assessment. Any questions for me?
Members, questions for Assessor Stanley?
Hi, this is Board Member Palmer. These comps are well located and very similar in a lot of aspects. I guess the only difference would be some of them have the condition of either just general condition better or a better kitchen or bath. And you have adjustments of 15 to 25,000. Is that sufficient in today's market? I mean, it all looks good, but I don't know if maybe it could be a little more, or just that's pretty much what it should be.
That's pretty much where it is with that market. She is kind of the bottom of the market for those style and sizes of homes.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions from the board members? Assessor Stanley, did you look at the home that the appellant mentioned on 10th Avenue? Did you?
No, I did not. This is the first time hearing of this, and so I am curious, what was the address of that property?
It's a 5255 10th. It's not really a comparable. It's in terrible condition.
She actually, my mistake, she did mention that property. I did not look at it. I know I looked at it briefly and kind of came to the same conclusion as you did, that it was not a good comparable. I can look it up really quick.
Yeah, they started a couple of years ago at 375. They're down to 265. There's information, the interior is in terrible condition. They can't put in a driveway without an easement.
Is that the home where it looks like there's a big addition on the one side of it and there's a big tree right in front of it?
It's very bizarre looking at the architectural. They were trying to expand the space without much thought about how it's going to look or present. It was actually built originally in 1926, but this addition was put on, and so the whole thing looks like it was built much sooner or later than that.
Correct. I have dealt with that home for the last 10 years. I'm very familiar with that property. The additions were put on that property. In discussing with some former real estate agents on that property, some of the permits were done with, or some of the additions were done with no permits. That is a very unique property that has changed hands a few times over the past 10 years and really can't be used. That is not, I don't know that the house would be a good comparable for any home in that area.
You do not consider that a comp?
I would not consider that a comp at all. There are some, other than just the sizes and the parameters and the conditions, there are some other attributes and parameters of that house that does not make that a good viable comp for anything.
Any other questions from the board members? Okay, hearing none, we will, hello? Do we have a question? Okay. We'll consider and act on the appeal. Any questions or comments from the board members? Or is there a motion?
This is Board Member Badurtha. I believe these 4 comps that the assessor chose were some of the best I've seen. I mean, they're close and the sale dates are great. I'm going to recommend, or my motion is to sustain the value at $299,000 for this year.
Is there a second?
I will second that.
Okay. It's been moved by Badurtha and seconded by Amba to sustain the value of $299. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Board Member Amba.
Aye.
Board Member Badurtha.
Aye.
Board Member Palmer.
Aye.
Chair Bland.
Aye.
There are 4 ayes.
Motion carries. Okay, now, we've been out of order here, so I want to make sure we know what we're doing next. Are we doing 5204 11th next? Is that correct?
Chair Bland, board members, that is correct.
And is Ms. Held on the phone?
Madam Chair, the applicant, Ms. Held, is on the phone. Please press star 6 to unmute your phone. You'll be given 5 minutes to present to the board. Please state your name and address.
Hello, this is Beth Held at 5204 11th Avenue South. And I received my evaluation at 327, which was about 47,000 more than last year. So I looked at some comps, and in my neighborhood, they were all significantly less than the 327 value that was placed on my property. So I shared those with my assessor, and he gave me some comps to look at, and I looked at those, and 2 of them I thought weren't the greatest comps because they had more square footage, more space between the houses, wider lots. One had a second bathroom, and they both had porches. One had a newer kitchen. So, and those sales were pending. So what I did was I put all of the comps into a spreadsheet, and then I looked at what their values were in 21 and 22, and I looked at what they sold for in either 21 or 22, and the ones that actually had sales on them, on average, were the estimated market value exceeded the sale price by 39,000. So if I subtracted 39,000 from my estimated market value, I came up with 288, which is about $14,000 more than my my appraisal came in at in 2020, which I also shared with the assessor. So I think that my value is more somewhere in the neighborhood of 288, or if you include the pending sales, it would be like 294. With that, I'll close.
Right,
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Held. Call on the assessor.
Chair Bland, again, we have Scott Stanley from our office presenting this case. Thank you.
Good morning again, Chair Bland and members of the board. Again, I am Scott Stanley. I'm here to present case number 220330, 5204 11th Avenue South. Our estimated 2022 estimated market value was 327. The indicated value that I came up with was $305,000. Quick overview of the property. I did a desktop review of the property on April 5th. The owner sent me photos of her property on April 11th. Those are the photos that you see in your board packet. It's a one-story single-family home located in the Hale neighborhood. It sits on a 4,568 square foot lot. It was built in 1930. Above grade square footage is 848 square feet, and the foundation is the same 848 square feet. There is no finished basement. It does have a 2-car detached garage, and overall we consider the house in average condition. The main floor of the property is a typical layout for the style of home. Has a living room area, kind of a dining room area, 2 bedrooms, 1 full bath that appears to be original, and a kitchen. And according to the owner, that kitchen was updated approximately 20 years ago. The basement is unfinished and it has stucco exterior with asphalt shingles. There is no sale history on the home in the last 3 years. All the comparables I used are within 4 blocks of the subject. No adjustments were made if the GLA in difference of the comparable was less than 100 square feet. I use comparable number 1 is 5329 Columbus Avenue South, sold for $289,000 in November 2021. It has a similar GLA. It is a similar condition as the subject home. It does have an inferior kitchen and an unfinished basement. I use comparable number 2 is 5205 10th Avenue South, sold for $260,000 in October of 2020. It is directly, the reason for this house is it's directly across the alley from our subject home. And in our discussion with the owner, this property came up, and so I included it in the comparables. It does have a smaller GLA. It had an inferior dated condition, had the original kitchen, has an unfinished basement, and a 1-car garage. Comparable number 3 is 5236 12th Avenue South, sold for $340,000 in October of 2021. Has a similar GLA. It is a superior condition of the home. It does have the original kitchen. It does have an updated bathroom and does have some basement finish. The next 2 comparables, number 4 and number 5, are currently pending sales to give you an idea of what's going on in that area. Comparable number 4 is 5232 Elliott Avenue South, $319,900. It is currently pending. It was 2 days on the market before they accepted their offer. It is set to close May 31st. It has inferior GLA. It is similar condition, has an inferior kitchen, and it does have some basement finish. Comparable number 5 is 5317 13th Avenue South, currently pending at $299,000. It was 7 days on the market before they accepted their offer. It is set to close April 22nd. It has inferior GLA. It does have similar condition. It does have an original similar size kitchen and a partial basement finish. The indicated value range by the sales of the comparison approach, I'm coming in at $302,000 to $321,000. The subject property 2022 estimated market value is $327,000. My indicated value is $305,000, and my recommendation is we lower her value for the 2022 assessment to $305,000. Any questions for me?
Members?
This is Board Member Palmer. Again, the comps look very, very good in many aspects. The only question I would have is at the kitchen. So it was updated in 2000. It is 10 to 15,000. I don't know what kind of adjustment should be made on that to an original kitchen. So you've got 5 to 15,000. Might it be more or less than that, or that's just something that the market is showing you?
So the original kitchen is the original kitchen. Which one are you referring to, Board Member Palmer?
Well, all the ones you said were original versus the subject was redone in approximately year 2000. So I'm just kind of wondering if the 5 to 15,000 is a good range for adjustment of that. It seems to be the only adjustment that you have on all those comps compared to the subject.
Right. So obviously to get from an original kitchen to more of a modern day kitchen, the reality is that's going to be more than $5,000 to $10,000 for that, right? With it being 20 years old, there's some depreciation to the 20-year-old kitchen, but she does have a nicer, more desirable kitchen than the original kitchens.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions from the board members? Ms. Stanley, I do have a question about the comparable at 5205 10th. I believe that's one that you included because the appellant pointed that out to you because
Correct.
it's across the alley. So it is an older comp, so typically we wouldn't choose something that's dated, but because she mentioned it to you, you did. So you used, you adjusted for date of sale and time by $9,000. Where did you come up with that figure?
So in the Nokomis area of South Minneapolis this year, we're using a time adjustment of 2.85%. That's where that comes from.
Okay, thank you. Board members, any other questions? Okay, thank you, Assessor Stanley. We will now consider and act on the appeal for 5204 11th Avenue South. Discussion, motions.
I move to reduce the value from 327,000 to 305,000 for 2022.
The indicated value. Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Board Member Amba.
Aye.
Board Member Bodertha.
Aye.
Board Member Palmer.
Aye.
Chair Bland.
Aye.
There are 4 ayes.
The motion is adopted. Okay. I believe our next one is on Buchanan. Am I correct? 2630 Buchanan.
Chair Bland and board members, case number 22-0356 located at 2630 Buchanan Street Northeast also did cancel. And so you would just need to act and sustain the valuation, preserving that right to appeal further.
Okay. Can I get a motion on 2630 Buchanan Street Northeast?
I move to sustain the value at 415,000.
For a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. It's been moved by Bodertha and seconded by Amba to sustain the value of 2630 Buchanan. Excuse me. At 400 and what did you say? Is it 425,000? 425?
415,000.
415.
That's the market value. Okay, 415,000. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Board Member Amba.
Aye.
Board Member Bodertha.
Aye.
Board Member Palmer.
Aye.
Chair Bland.
Aye.
There are 4 ayes.
Motion carries. Okay, we have a schedule that allows us to take a break at 10:45. It's now 5 minutes to 10. How do we want to proceed, Director Malmquist?
Bland and board members. So yes, you were scheduled to start a series of hearings again at 11 o'clock. At 11 o'clock, we have 3 callers that were phoning in. The rest are either write-ins or did not respond. You could if you wanted to take a short recess, you could, and then take up all of the write-ins and those that didn't respond. And then when the phone-ins join at 11 o'clock, we could hear those then. It's your choice.
How many cases do we have that are not phone-ins? Which ones?
9, I believe. There are 9 that are write-ins or did not respond.
Okay. I don't know that we can get through 9 in 45 minutes, but it certainly makes sense to use this time to dispense with some of them. What is the first one that is not a call in or write-in?
The first case is 22-0478 at 3400 Edmond Boulevard. That is a write-in case.
Okay. And We'll not be hearing from any assessors on any of these. Is that correct?
That is correct, Chair Bland.
Okay, all right. Board members, are you with me on moving ahead with some of these cases in this time we have available to us?
Yes.
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 All right, then let's go to 3400 Edmund Boulevard. Comments or questions from the board on this case?
My only comments would be they have an appraisal he submitted, but it was from late 2017. I don't know how much weight you ever want to put on that. And then there were, the assessor listed, and I don't know if he mentioned it, but there were improvements of 140,000 to this property in 2021. So that makes that appraisal even kind of more moot that they had in 2017 that he provided.
Also, the comps that were provided were from 2019 and 2020, so they weren't exactly up to date. Any other questions or comments on this case? Is there a motion?
Because of and there's information like you mentioned, but it's a lack of information current because of the age of the appraisal and the updating and the fact that the comps are older. I'm just gonna make a motion to hold the value at $629,000.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Bedurtha and a second by Palmer to sustain the value at $629,000. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Board Member Amba.
Aye.
Board Member Bedurtha.
Aye.
Board Member Palmer.
Aye.
Chair Bland.
Aye.
There are 4 ayes.
Motion carries. Okay. The next one on the list is 5109 Logan. Is that one we can proceed with? Director Lundquist?
Chair Bland and board members, no, that is a phone-in case, so we will move along to case 22-0486, located at 1202 5th Street Northeast. Okay. This property owner did not respond and confirm a hearing.
All right. Okay, so appeal application for 1202 5th Street Northeast, case number 22-0486. Applicant is Russell and Sarah Glover. They will not be speaking today. So questions or comments from the board members?
My comment would be, these are all rental properties. This is a duplex. He provided some comps, or the appellant did, that were lower sales prices, but they look smaller and the rents were substantially less. So he listed his rents as $2,500 a month, and the comparables were $1,600, and I don't have the other one in front of me. I think it was similar, something. I'm not seeing the other one listed rent, but one of the smaller comps were $1,600 rent. Well, that's a large percentage difference in rent, so which would tend to support a higher value that the subject property has.
Any other comments, questions? I would say that his comp number 1 was mentioned a couple of times as being a fixer-upper, and comp number 2 was an estate that needed updates. So I'm not sure that either of those are good comps. It wasn't particularly helpful, I didn't think. Any other comments?
Yeah, those comps, because of those comments, might have worked against him in a sense, but they were the comps that the appellant chose. So I see no reason for any decrease on this, and I would move to hold the value at 367,000.
And I'll second that.
Okay. It has been moved by Vidirtha and seconded by Amba to sustain the value of the property at 1202 Fifth Street Northeast at 367,000. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Board Member Amba.
Aye.
Board Member Budertha.
Aye.
Board Member Palmer.
Aye.
Chair Bland.
Aye.
There are 4 ayes.
Motion carries. All right, the next one on my list is 1200 Nicollet Mall. Where are we with that one, Director Mulgust?
Your planning board members, this is a write-in case, so you can go ahead and proceed with review.
Okay, thank you. Appeal application for 1200 Nicollet Mall, number 805, case number 22-0487. Questions or comments on this property?
I would just like to ask you, Chairman, if you're familiar with that. I'm familiar with this property, but from many, many years ago, so I don't know what's been going on currently in this downtown condo market. It looks like the assessor has not been increasing the values much the last few years. His sales, I'm not going to call them comps, but the sales in the similar units say they were in the 153 to 165,000 range. So I'm just curious as if that market is kind of stalled out on or where it is right now.
Board Member Palmer, my familiarity with this building does date to quite a few years ago. I haven't shown things there recently. I'm in looking at what the applicant provided for us. We have sales. It does not indicate anything about, it talks about square footage, nothing about what floor they're on, nothing about what condition they're in. So that's really all that's been provided. And there's really nothing here for us to go on.
Yeah, I would agree. And apparently it looks like the assessor lowered the value from 210 to 193. So there probably was some leg in the market there or whatever, but without any further data, I would agree that there's no change that we should make.
Get a motion.
I will move that we sustain the value at 193,000.
Okay, second.
I'll second that.
All right. It has been moved by Palmer and seconded by Amba to sustain the value at 193,000. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Board Member Amba.
Aye.
Board Member Budertha.
Aye.
Board Member Palmer.
Aye.
Chair Bland.
Aye.
There are 4 ayes.
Motion carries. The next case on my list is 22-0488, 3824 First. Where are we with that one?
Your Bland and board members, this appellant did not confirm a write-in or phone-in, so you can go ahead and proceed with what was provided.
Okay. Any comments on this? Okay, yeah, no, hearing no comments, is there a motion?
Again, there wasn't very much information was provided, so I would make a motion to sustain the value at 357,000.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. It's been moved by Bedurtha and seconded by Amba to sustain the value of 3824 First Avenue South at $357,000. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Board Member Amba.
Aye.
Board Member Bedortha.
Aye.
Board Member Palmer.
Aye.
Chair Bland.
Aye.
There are 4 ayes.
Motion is adopted. The next one on the list is 5853 Vincent, 22-0492. No, I'm sorry, 22-0489.
Chair Bland and board members, this is a phone-in case, and so if I could just pause here and ask you a question, is the board's preference, would you like our staff, like we did for the earlier sessions, to call the 3 phone-ins and see if they're able to join earlier? Or would you prefer to go through all these write-ins and recess and convene again at 11 o'clock?
Board members, what's your feeling?
Does that mean about 10:30, Rebecca, possibly?
Yes, you have 1, 2, 3, 5 more cases that are write-ins or no responses, and then you have the 3 phone-ins.
Okay.
So it would be approximately about probably 10:30, 10:35, where we'd ask them to join.
That would be good for me. I'd like to have maybe a 5-minute break in between if we could.
Okay.
Yeah, if you can get them on the line, that would be fine with me. If not, we'll just proceed.
We'll be able to have a longer break than that, but so you just go ahead with the ones that currently are not on the phone and see if we can get them on the phone earlier and see how many we can get through until we get to 10:45.
Okay.
Acceptable. Okay, so given that is our next case, what is our next case then? Vincent is what was a
Phone-in, so we will move to 22-0492 5753 Bloomington Avenue.
Okay. Comments on this one?
I would just comment there was really no supporting data there. He talked about his dated home and the flight path of the pandemic, but he has no comparables or discussion about value. So I can't see any reason to change the value.
I would agree. Could I get a motion?
Well, I will move that we hold the value at $372,000.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. We have a motion by Palmer and a second by Bedurtha to sustain the value at $372,000 for the property at 5753 Bloomington Avenue. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Board Member Amba.
Aye.
Board Member Bedurtha.
Aye.
Board Member Palmer.
Aye.
Chair Bland.
Aye.
There are 4 ayes.
Motion is adopted. All right, the next one on the list is 5344 Zenith. What's the story on that one? Director Malmquist?
You can go ahead and proceed. They did not verify attendance.
Okay. Any comments on this one, 5344 Zenith Avenue?
Again, this is Board Member Palmer. He provides a lot of comps and year builds and square footages, but I don't see any comps that are newer than 2020, and most of them were 2019 and a few in 2018. So I just think the sales are kind of dated given where the market's going to put any weight on those.
My only comment on it, I noted previous values on this property from back in 2017 were much higher, 460,000, then it moved up to 501,000. And I don't know what then it moved down to 340,000. So it is, it's a roller coaster a little bit. I don't know if the value is way too high, if there was some issue, a fire or something that happened. I don't have the field notes from any appraiser or assessor on this. So, and now it's gone up, not that great, 382 to 413. So I'm going to make a motion to hold it at 413.
Second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay. We have a motion by Budurka, and it was seconded by Amba to sustain the value at 413,000. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Board Member Amba.
Aye.
Board Member Budurtha.
Aye.
Board Member Palmer.
Aye.
Chair Bland.
Aye.
There are 4 ayes.
Motion is adopted. Okay, the next one on my list is 3628 Longfellow Avenue. Director Palmquist?
Chair Bland, you can proceed if they did not confirm attendance.
Okay. Any comments on this one?
Absolutely not much provided. It's got older wiring and older siding, and that's all we have to go on. So I'm going to make a motion to hold it at 320,000.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right. It's been moved by Budurka and seconded by Palmer to sustain the value at $320,000 for the property at 3628 Longfellow Avenue. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Board Member Amba.
Aye.
Board Member Budurtha.
Aye.
Board Member Palmer.
Aye.
Chair Bland.
Aye.
There are 4 ayes.
The motion is adopted. Okay. Next on my list is 24 Washburn Avenue South.
Chair Bland and board members, that is a phone-in case, so we will move past that, moving to 22-0500 at 2807 Buchanan Street Northeast. That is a write-in case that you can proceed.
Okay, all right. Board members, comments or questions on this case, 2807 Buchanan Street Northeast?
The appellant provided an appraisal again, but it was dated November 11th of 2019. I believe, I can't read it, 260,000. I don't know, the comps seem plausible. I can't, don't know them real well, but in any regard, I would suggest that if we looked at that, we would take some kind of appreciation and find some number above that appraisal date. If it was 5 or 6% a year, we'd be at about 310,000 for January 2, 2022.
Comments?
Coincidentally, that was the exact same number I had penciled in at the bottom of my page, thinking on the same route when I looked at this last night.
I noticed that the prices in Audubon Park were up 11% in just the last year. And this appraisal goes back to 2019. So, we'd have to at least, I would say, double that or something along those lines. So I think maybe all kind of coming to the same conclusion here. It'll be somewhere in the low 3s. Anybody care to make a motion?
I will move that we reduce the value of 2807 Buchanan to 310,000.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All right. It's been moved by Palmer and seconded by Budurtha to reduce the value of 2807 Buchanan Street Northeast to 310,000. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Board Member Amba.
Aye.
Board Member Budurtha.
Aye.
Board Member Palmer.
Aye.
Chair Bland.
Aye.
There are 4 ayes.
The motion is adopted. The final one on the list then is 22-0502 at 4912 36th Avenue South. Do we have is this going to be a call-in? Doesn't look like it.
Chair Bland, this is a cancellation actually,
Okay,
so you just need a motion to sustain the value.
all right. Can I hear a motion, please? I see what the seller provided or the owner provided was directly to the point. Reduced value to 290, no improvements.
That should be good enough. No,
Yeah.
I move to hold the value or sustain the value at $304,000.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Bertha and a second by Amba to sustain the value of 4912 36th Avenue South at 304,000. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Board Member Amba.
Aye.
Board Member Bertha.
Aye.
Board Member Palmer.
Aye.
Chair Bland.
Aye.
There are 4 ayes.
Motion is adopted. Okay, so have we been successful in getting anyone else on the line early?
Chair Bland and board members, we have left voicemails with the appellants. However, we have not heard back. So I need to defer to the clerk to ask how we should proceed. Do we recess until 11? Do we try to come back sooner than that? How should we proceed?
Madam Chair, I would suggest that you recess until 10:45, and then we can see if were successful in contacting any of the appellants to call in, and then we will proceed from there.
Okay. Thank you. I think that is reasonable. So if that's the case, we will take a break here and we will reconvene at, what do you say, 10:45.
Chair Bland and members of the board, the time is now 10:45 a.m. and the board will reconvene from its recess. I will call the roll to affirm a presence of a quorum. Board Member Amba,
Aye. Present.
Board Member Bodertha,
Present.
Board Member Palmer,
Present.
and Chair Bland.
Okay.
There are 4 members present.
We have a quorum.
Madam Chair, we do have 2 callers on the line that have called in. If we go in order of the schedule, the first applicant is for case 220481 at 5109 Logan Avenue South. The applicant, Joseph Greco, is on the line. If you're ready to proceed, I will ask him to press star 6, and we'll have 5 minutes to present to the board.
Okay, go ahead.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Great. I don't know if I had sent over some comparable sales information
Please state your name
through
and
email.
would you please state your name and your address?
Joe Greco, 5109 Logan Avenue South in Minneapolis, 55419.
Thank you.
You bet.
Proceed.
You bet. I sent over some comparable sales data. I don't know if you all have that
We have
to
what you
reference,
sent. We have
but
everything that you sent.
okay. So I'm just calling to dispute the valuation of tax valuation of the home. A lot of sales going on well below, where mine is at. And this isn't the first time I've had to do this, and I'm also doing it for 2022. But I guess I don't know what else to say other than, the comparables that I laid out, in the email. But there's multiple sales, recent sales in my immediate area that are well below the valuation that, the home's been put at by the tax assessor. In the past, providing the comparables like I did, in years past was what I've done with the assessor. My valuation, would be something in, around the $585,000 number versus the $685,000 number that, I'm assessed at for 23.
Okay. Anything else?
That's about it. I mean, the information in that comparable list is what I've got.
Okay. Thank you for your presentation. Director Baumquist, I understand we do not have an assessor on this case. Is that correct?
Chair Bland, that
What
is
was that?
correct.
I'm speaking to the assessor.
Okay.
Chair
ahead,
Bland, that
Amy.
is correct.
Okay. We have another caller on the line. Is that right?
Madam Chair, that is correct. It's case 220489. The applicant is Kate Solberg for 5853 Vincent Avenue South.
Okay. Then I suggest you proceed as we had intended to hear the cases first and then discuss and come to conclusions. So let's move on to that case, which is that 5853 Vincent.
Correct, Madam Chair. And if the caller can press star 6 to unmute your phone, state your name and address, and you all have 5 minutes to present to the board.
Hi there, this is Kate. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So my name is Kate Solberg, and I recently purchased
on this home at 5853 Vincent Avenue south with my husband. I just want to say thank you for your time and listening. I'm new to homeownership. This is my first home, and I tuned into your sessions yesterday to better understand how to present my case. So I have some notes with me that I'll walk through. We purchased this house in February of 2022, and we had the home independently appraised in January of 2022, and that's what is attached in my submission. The appraisal was deemed at $386,000, and our tax evaluation for 2023 is currently listed at $460,000. For background, it's kind of a unique case, and for background, this home was owned by Zillow, and they purchased the home in November of 2021. When I first initially received my tax form, it was listed as 0% homestead residential, and I called the city and I found out that Zillow was still listed as the homeowner. And so I'm not sure if that has anything to do with the tax increase, but Zillow bought this home from the previous owners at $403,000 and then sold to us for $384,000. So just some numbers to call out there. Let's see. So in my notes here, I'm asking for the board to consider to lowering our 2023 taxes to match our appraisal or last year's tax value. And just to note here, we love our new home and we're very excited that we, finally got ourselves into the market, but it does need updating. And we often felt edged out of the market for what we could afford in Minneapolis. So we really wanted to live in Minneapolis proper. And so wanting to appeal our case so we can ensure to stay in our home for many more years to come. And that's my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your presentation.
I have a few questions, Chairman Bland.
Sure.
So I'm curious, so Zillow bought it for $403,000 and then you paid $384,000 a couple months ago. Was that marketed with a realtor? How did you learn about that sale or that it was for sale?
Yes, so I learned that Zillow owned the home. It was through, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the realtor's name, the one that has all the billboards. Yes, but I learned about this, that it was owned through Zillow, through our realtor. And then I was able to see on Zillow how much, looking at the past history, the public records of what it was sold for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions from board members?
I have a question. This is Board Member Bedurtha. I was wondering, was it, if there was multiple offers when you purchased it?
No, that's also very interesting. We were the only offer. So one offer on this property and it was accepted.
Okay. Any other questions from the board members? Ms. Solberg, thank you very much for your presentation. We will be making a decision and you'll be notified by mail.
Thank you so much.
Welcome. So where are we with 24 Washburn? Have we heard from the owner?
Madam Chair, I would have to defer to the assessor staff.
Chair Bland and board members, we have not yet heard from that appellant. Again, their session was scheduled to start at 11. So if you wanted to take action on the two cases that you just heard, and then hopefully, potentially by then, that case will be ready.
All right, great. Well, let's go backwards. Let's first work on the one that we just heard from Ms. Solberg at 5853 Vincent. Comments or questions on this?
Just a comment. I tend to put more weight or value that first sale. I think Zillow ended up deciding they were going to get out of the residential business and they sold off all their properties. So I'm kind of wondering, they sold less than they bought it for. They were just liquidating their inventory at this time. So I don't know how much weight to put on. It's very interesting. as Mr. Bertha stated, if that's really on the market and it's worth 400,000, you would think that someone would come in on that, but I don't know how it was marketed. I think they just wanted to get rid of their properties and sold them as quickly as possible because they were liquidating. So I would put more weight on this, the 403 or something around that value rather than her sale price and that appraisal.
Well, you're absolutely correct. Zillow decided to get out of the market and stop buying homes, but it isn't because, and it isn't just necessarily that they started selling things below what they bought it for. They've been doing that all along. They for quite some time. So they outbid everybody else with their cash offers, and really weren't planning on holding many of these, if any. Would turn around and sell them, and often couldn't sell them for any kind of a profit, and kept dropping the price until somebody finally took the bait. So they've been losing for quite a while. That's one of the reasons they decided to get out of buying properties. So putting a lot of weight on the 403 that Zillow paid, I wouldn't, because they just went way over just to win the bid. So what's interesting is then that these people were the only offer when it came time to do anything and get their offer in. So the appraisal was the 1st of January of 22, and I would tend to put quite a bit of weight on that. And it might be, I'd put more weight on that than I would on the price that Zillow paid for it, I guess, is what I'd say.
And I would like to add about the appraisal. I like the comparable number one that did come up to about 395,000 was the adjusted value for that one. Therefore, and I know it's close to, well, last year was 396,000. There's no further discussion. That's what I would recommend, or I'd make a motion to lower the value to last year's value, 396,000.
Okay, have a motion to adjust the value of 5853 Vincent from 460 to, what did you say?
396,000.
396, the previous year. Okay, to 396. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. So we do have a motion by Baderva and seconded by Amba to adjust the price to 396,000. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Board Member Amba.
Aye.
Board Member Badertha.
Aye.
Board Member Palmer.
Aye.
Chair Bland.
Aye.
There are 4 ayes.
Motion is adopted. Okay, then one just prior to that, we heard from the seller, Mr. Greco, 5109 Logan. He presented some information here, comments, questions, discussion.
He provided a list of sales. I would hesitate to call them comps, but some of them were close in size and that type of thing. The area is very nice. He's literally a block south of the creek there, but all these comps are pretty darn close. They're within 4 or 5 blocks. The 2 that were most common to him, I just circled, were on page 152 was 5037 Morgan, was a 3-bed, 1-bath, was $595. And on the page 151, 5128 Oliver was 3 beds, 2 bath, 1755, and that was $625. So we don't know the other circumstances. So I just point out, in looking at his field card, that the quality and the building condition were all average plus on his property. So I'm guessing his property is very nice, but I don't know how, what his sales were. Were they average? Were they nice? I don't know. It would tend to me, just looking at all this list of sales, that he might be a little high, but if his better condition, I would hesitate cutting it too much. That's kind of my take.
Yeah, I would agree. There are some good comps here, but as far as proximity to the subject, but all we have, people seem to think square footage is the only thing that we look at. And of course, that's a one factor and one factor only, so we don't know the condition or the circumstances of any of these other sales. You know, garages and et cetera. So there isn't, you know, despite the fact that he's provided a lot of what you might call comps, we don't have a lot of information to go on other than a sales price.
I would mention, I mean, I don't know if these are all the sales in the area, but there's a lot of sales, and there is no sale in here over 625,000 that I can see. So the whole range in this area is 560 to 625. So again, is his a lot nicer? It could be. I don't know what the X factor is on that as far as the condition or the age of the building for that matter. His was built in 37. I think that whole area is probably the 20 and 30s built, but we don't know for sure.
Pretty much. Well, once you get south of 54th, they tend to be a little bit newer. But as long as you're, because that was Richfield originally, as long as you're north of 54th, they tend to be older. So what's interesting also is he claims that, let's see, that he has 3 bedrooms, 1.5 baths. So there are none of these comps have anything less than 2 baths. I suspect that some of the 2-bath ones are 1 and 1.5.
I would agree.
Same thing with the 3-bath ones. It's likely that one of the baths is a half. And for these, they're a year old. Some of these, more than a year old. The one of the ones you pointed out at 5037 Morgan, which sold for $595, that is a year old. It was March of 21. So I don't see anything newer than 21.
I'd like to make a small remark on this. The 3 I looked at were similar to what Mr. Palmer said that I liked because of the size, and I looked up the age of them all, and they were all in the mid-1920s. I'll have to say 1937, 38, and 39 were some of the best houses built. I learned that from an engineer once that lived in that general area, and he told me that 40 years ago. It was during the Depression, and the workmanship of those 3 years was something else.
Yeah, if you could afford to build, then you could afford to build.
Right.
Yeah, build well. So, other comments or the motion?
I'm going to take a stab. You might not agree, but even if his was better condition, if you make a 10% adjustment from 600,000, you'd be at like 660,000. I motion we reduce the value to 660,000.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion on that motion? Okay, hearing none, we have a motion on the floor by Paulson, seconded by Bodertha, to adjust the value to 660,000. Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Board Member Amba.
Aye.
Board Member Bodertha.
Aye.
Board Member Palmer.
Aye.
Chair Bland.
Aye.
There are 4 ayes.
Motion is adopted. Okay, we have one left. Do we have a applicant on the line for 24 Washburn Avenue?
Madam Chair, the applicant is on the line. Please press *6 to unmute your phone, state your name and address, and you will have 5 minutes to present to the board.
There. Oh, hi there. My name is Allie Rodway. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Excellent. Good morning. Allie Rodway, owner of 24 Washburn Avenue South in Minneapolis, 55405 in the Bryn Mawr neighborhood. You know, the discrepancy is not enormous, but you know, as a young property owner and someone who's a single mom and the sole individual responsible for this property, every ounce of financial responsibility is important for me and my young daughter. So you have appraised the home, or assessed, excuse me, the home at $472,000, up from $432,500 last year. And in the course of my divorce that I'm unfortunately in the midst of going through, we had it appraised by T. Wicker Appraisals. Todd came through and did an extremely thorough appraisal of the property. And I have provided that documentation. It includes photographs and comps and 37 pages of reasoning. His opinion of the value was $455,000. And so I'm coming today to have that appraisal, or the assessment, excuse me, to reflect the appraisal that T. Wicker Appraisals has established.
Okay, anything else?
I don't think so, but I'm happy to answer questions.
All right, board members, do you have any questions for Ms. Rodway? Hearing none, I want to thank you for your presentation, Ms. Radway. We will be notifying you by mail of our decision. Thank you very much.
Is that it? Am I done?
Yes, you are. Thank you.
Oh.
That was easy,
okay.
Right?
Well, that was easy. Here's hoping that the appraisal went through. Okay. Take care. Appreciate your service. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, board members, comments, questions, concerns?
I will start. I go into the appraisal. I know this area of Bryn Mawr pretty well. So her property is just south of Glenwood and almost over to the park, almost to Theodore Wirth at the start of the park, which is a decent area. It's west of Penn. Two of these comps, I'd say 248 Upton and 261 Washburn. 261 Washburn North would be kind of inferior because you're north, but the Upton one is a better one. That's down toward 394. The first comp is old. That was from November of 2020, and I'm not seeing time adjustments by the appraiser on these, and the other ones were early 2021. That's one point I would disagree with. There must be some little kind of time adjustment upward. And the other thing is she has 0.17 acres, and comps 2 and 3 are more normal size lots, 0.11 and 0.12, and they're kind of bigger lots over where she is. Not a large amount of money, but maybe a little bit. So I think the appraisal is not bad, but given the date of these sales and the date of her sale, I would tend to think it should be a little higher than this 455.
I understand. Go ahead, Mr. Berger.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I was looking at the comps, and what I was kind of surprised at the comps, and maybe that's all the appraiser could find, but the range of sale prices from $332,000 to $575 is quite a range for three comparables. But I did looking at the pictures, comparable number 3 does appear to be closer in looks to the subject property, just because it's the way it's designed, and it looks like a pretty small home, but that one I can see giving more weight to than the other two.
Well, as far as the comps are concerned, that is always an issue when you're working in Bryn Mawr because it's such a small area and not a lot of homes come on the market, so it's very hard to choose from. When you do have something that's, when was this done? In it was over a year old when the appraisal was done. We did make an adjustment, however, for date of the sale. The indicated value is not a great deal more than the appraisal. If we give it a 3-month boost to the first of the year, we maybe have a little bit of room there. But I certainly wouldn't, I mean, I would certainly put some weight on the appraisal since it was so recent.
Okay, I move that we reduce the value of 24 Washburn from 472,000 to 460,000.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right. It's been moved by Palmer and seconded by Amba to reduce the value of the property at 24 Washburn Avenue South from 472,000 to 460,000. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Board Member Amba.
Aye.
Board Member Bodertha.
Aye.
Board Member Palmer.
Aye.
Chair Bland.
Aye.
There are 4 ayes.
The motion is adopted. I believe that concludes the business before us today. Is there anything further, Director Almquist, that we need to address?
Chair Bland and board members, no, that does conclude your agenda for today. Scheduled to reconvene tomorrow morning at 9 a.m.
Could I make a comment?
Absolutely.
This is Board Member Palmer. So I'm assuming I'm alone, or my wife's here and my dog, and when they come with the courier, we got to go answer the phone, and there's like barking, and I may have to, take a step out because they're coming between 10 and 11 every morning with the new documents, and I got to go get them. So just a heads up on what's happening if that happens.
Well, we don't mind your dog barking. That's perfectly fine.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anybody else? All right, so we will reconvene tomorrow, which is, if I remember correctly, Wednesday at 9 a.m. and we just have a morning session tomorrow. At this point, Director Malmquist, do we know when we're going to reconvene the following week? We will be on Tuesday, is that correct?
That is correct, Chair or Clerk Hanson, if you just want to confirm, after tomorrow, when they recess, we will reconvene Tuesday the 26th again, and then we are looking to add additional day times on the 27th, and we will confirm that with the board members.
And the session on the 26th is just the morning session, or is it all day?
Madam Chair, yes. Yes, it's scheduled in the morning.
Okay, very good, thank you. All right, any other comments, questions, concerns? All right, then we will reconvene tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. See you then.
Thank you.